Have you heard about an Italian poet named Dante Alighieri? You may not remember that name much, but you will certainly remember one of his works, The Divine Comedy. This work was published in the 14th century during the Renaissance. It is one of the greatest classics in world literature, full of symbology and allegories. Dante's works criticize powerful people such as politicians and religious people. Dante separated his work into three parts: Inferno, Purgatory and Paradiso. The first, which talks about the underworld, will be the subject of today's video. Could it be true? I'm Stelian Edgar, and this is Fear the Weird. Do you believe there's more to life than what we're told? Do you have burning questions about hidden and controversial topics? Subscribe to our channel and turn on the bell notification to unravel the mysteries of life and the universe. First, I will explain the context of Dante's work and then describe what the map of the hell described by the author is like. The work Inferno is composed of 34 cantos, each containing about 140 verses. These verses tell the story of when Dante went to hell and found the Roman poet Virgil, author of the Aeneid. The Roman poet then began to walk the dark paths with Dante, who describes the first scenario as a dark and cold jungle. He also describes that hell consists of 9 circles that have the same center and that taper off as they get deeper. Then they reach the center of the earth, or rather the center of hell. In the author's view, each circle of hell is destined for a type of sinner. Each of these circles is described as follows. The first circle is the Limbo. This place of hell is the place of virtuous pagans, the unbaptized, and those who died before the coming of Jesus Christ. The souls of these people wander through the darkness, showing that these minds are not enlightened because they have not known the gospel and its teachings. These souls live in a castle with 7 gates, symbolizing the 7 virtues. The most interesting thing is that Dante claims that he saw many famous people in the first circle, such as Homer, Socrates, Aristotle, Cicero, Hippocrates, and Julius Caesar. In the second circle of hell, Virgil guides Dante through the place that houses the people who were overcome by lust. There, Dante spots a courtroom where Minos, the judge of hell, is present. He listens to the confessions of the dead who, because they no longer have the gift of intelligence, always tell the truth. Minos condemns the souls in the following way. He wraps himself around his tail the number of times corresponding to which circle the sinner must go. Meanwhile, they are plagued and swept away by swirling winds for eternity. These winds prevent souls from finding peace and rest, dragging them with violence. Scholars interpret these winds as the restlessness of a person who is driven by the desire for sexual pleasures. And guess what Dante finds over there? That's right, more personalities who marked history. This time, he spotted people like Cleopatra, Tristan, Helen of Troy, and others who were considered adulterers. In life, these individuals were driven by their passions that dragged them like the wind. But in the second circle of hell is the incessant wind that drags them. Dante and Virgil arrive in the third circle called the Mud Lake or Gluttony. They see the souls of the greedy being neglected by Cerberus, the famous 3-headed dog. Here, sinners are mired in mud and plagued by a storm of hail, ice and snow, and even clumps of dirty water that fall constantly. For Dante, the greedy are buried in their own vomit while being scratched, crushed, and torn apart by the Cerberus. The comfort of eating widely throughout life becomes an eternal discomfort in Dante's third circle of hell. In the work, Dante also mentions that he knows a man called Giacomo in this circle, a character who makes terrible predictions about the city of Florence. Dante and Virgo arrive at the fourth circle. In this circle of hell are the souls of people who are being punished for being too greedy. Sinners are divided into two groups: those who have accumulated goods and those who have spent money abundantly. In this landscape surrounded by mountains, the material wealth of people is transformed into great weights of coins and bars of gold. So do these people remain wealthy even in the hell? Not at all. The two groups push the weight of coins and gold bars towards each other and offend each other all time. They use their chest to push the weight, symbolizing selfish movements for wealth during their lifetime. In this circle, Dante and Virgil meet two characters from mythology, one of whom is Pluto, the god of death and wealthy in Greek mythology. The other character is Fortuna, the Roman goddess of chance, luck, fate and hope. Next is the circle that represents anger. The fifth circle of Dante's hell is where angry and feisty people receive punishment for their sins. Right at the entrance, there is a waterfall of bubbling and boiling water and blood. The liquid goes to beaches and a lake is formed called Styx, where are the sinful souls who are struggling and torturing themselves in an eternal rage. While Dante and Virgil sailed on a boat guided by Phlegus, a character from Greek mythology who was the son of Ares, god of war, they also saw enraged people fighting each other, clearly showing their anger. When navigating the river, the poet is faced with an unexpected event. Filippo Argenti, a nobleman who confiscated a property from Dante after his eviction from Florence, emerges from the water and grabs Phlegus' boat. He tries to speak to Dante but is pulled into the river by his companions. In the sixth circle, they reach the city of Dis. The place is surrounded by fire, immense pits and iron walls. Under the city gates are more than 1,000 fallen angels. Initially, the demons refuse to let Dante and Virgil in, but soon after, an angel descends and opens the door without any opposition. Dante sees the fire cemetery with people who are condemned to spend all eternity in flaming tombs with more than 1,000 sinners in each of them. These souls were condemned by heretical beings. Among them are those who do not believe in God or in the existence of Jesus. Among the tombs, Dante sees some well-known men. One of them is Farinata degli Uberti, a politician from Florence. In the last tomb, he sees the Holy Roman Emperor Frederick II and the Cardinal Ottaviano degli Ubaldini. Past the city walls, Dante also sees Pope Anastasius II. At the end of the sixth circle, there is a high circular precipice from which comes a terrible smell that leads to the seventh circle, where are the violent ones that are distributed over 3 rings. In the outer ring are the murderers and other souls who were violent during their lives. In this ring, Dante sees Alexander the Great and Dionysius the Elder, in addition to other historical and mythological figures. In the middle ring, there are the suicides that were transformed into plants and that are fed by harpies, but the poet also sees spendthrifts being torn apart by raging dogs. In the last ring, the interior, are the people who were sodomites and who committed blasphemies. These are seen living in a desert of sand, with fiery rain falling from the sky. Dante and Virgil then arrive at the 8th circle of hell, called Malebolge. This is the place of souls who committed fraud during their lives. The two poets throw themselves at the back of Geryon, a flying monster. The penultimate circle of hell is separated by 10 stone ditches, and in each of them there is a type of sinner, such as pimps, people who seduce others by interest, sycophants, people who sold divine favors, wizards, false prophets, politicians, corrupt, hypocrites, thieves, alchemists, and counterfeiters. And finally, we reach the 9th and final circle of hell. According to the Italian poet, the circle was also divided. Only this time, according to the severity of sins, the circle was divided into 4 parts, and the more serious the sin, the deeper the soul was buried within the eyes. The first division was called Kaina, where traitors of their relatives were punished. The second was Antenora, inspired by Antenor of Troy in punishing traitors of their homelands or political party. The third was Ptolomia, inspired by Ptolemy in punishing traitors of their guests. The last division, Judaica, inspired by Judas Iscariot and punished those who in life betrayed their masters. After going through all these circles, Dante and Virgil arrived at the center of hell, where they came across Satan. He is described as a 3-headed beast. Each mouth of the 3 heads eats a specific person. One devours Brutus, the other Cassius, and the third Judas Iscariot. For those who do not remember Brutus and Cassius, they are the ones who betrayed and caused the murder of Julius Caesar. Judas, on the other hand, is who betrayed Jesus Christ. As Dante describes in his work, these people were the last sinners who betrayed the individuals designated by God. This whole story told by Dante is an allegory of the concept of hell in the medieval era. But then, is hell really like this? What if it's true? Leave your comments below and subscribe for future videos. See you next time.